once again to have the schus to share words of the Tanya with you. And I want to begin by saying that something came to my mind just this week, and it's about the Tanya, and I never thought about it. I'm learning Tanya since I'm about 12 years old, so it's a long time. And this word that we find often in Tanya was never something that struck me. But this week, when I was teaching Tanya, all of a sudden it was like an eye opener. Why does it say vihine many times in the beginning of the chapter or middle of the chapter? It'll say the words vihine. What does vihine mean? Why do you have to? I mean, the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Tanya, didn't just write words to be poetic. He wrote words so we should truly understand that the deeper meaning of what's being said we're understanding by saying the word vihine.
I think it means "and here."
Hello?
I think it means "and here."
3. In the beginning of chapter Gimel 3, 6, which what we're learning now, it says vihine. So what's the vihine?
I'm here. Here I am.
Well, here I am, right. So what would be if he wouldn't say the word vihine? He would just say
and then he
I mean, you can start. I'm sure there's other ways to start.
So
Toys was biur, or we start.
Rabbi, you
every few chapters he starts with the word. After Yud Aleph 11, he starts with that. In many chapters he starts with vihine. What?
When you drive, you're breaking up for us.
Your voice is breaking up from time to time.
While you're driving, you're breaking up. You froze now. It's not going to work.
Oh.
Rabbi Dalfin, we cannot hear you. So maybe go into the house or wherever you are. I don't know.
He's frozen on the screen.
Right. Okay, well, we'll give him another minute maybe to, I think we just lost him. He's going to try to come right back on. Okay. Oh.
All right, he's in motion. He's in motion.
In motion?
Yeah.
Rabbi Dalfin, we can't hear you.
No, he is muted.
Unmute.
Okay. Now.
Okay, good.
When it comes to learn Torah, the problem happens many times that we learn and we study, but we don't always adapt what we're learning, that it should become our reality in real life. We learn, we study, we understand, we philosophize. But to say that this is my life, my daily life, I enjoy it, I thrive on it, and it gives me energy, and I live with it minute to minute, hour to hour. This is how I structure my life. Not necessarily. That's the way it should be. That's why the beginning of Shulchan Aruch, the first category of the Shulchan Aruch, it's called Oirach Chaim. The Oirach means the way, the road of life. It's the journey to life. This is what life is about. Following the laws, the halachos of the Torah. And when the Torah tells us how to, in the beginning of the Shulchan Aruch, how to wake up in the morning, how you should feel, what you should think, to take care of yourself, your physical body, and to say thank you to Hashem, of course, first, Moidani, and then be clean, and how to get dressed, and how to go to the bathroom, how to behave in the bathroom. Many laws that you wouldn't think that really pertain to Torah. Torah is for the most part talks about mitzvahs. But actually, if you look into the Shulchan Aruch, the Recorded Jewish law, which is based on the Gemara, for the most part, there's Midrashim also, but for the most part, it's from the Gemara, the Talmud. It gives you a way, a manual to life. The Oirach means the way, the how to conduct yourself on as you go for daily activities in practical life according to the Torah. Not that I'm learning Torah, I'm in the world of Torah, and then there's a gap, and there's no connection to reality. No, that's not the way it works. Reality is based on Torah. Reality is here only because of Torah. So, since this is the fact of the Torah, this is the Metzius, this is the reality. That's why he says Vihine. Vihine means here, it's in front of you, and it's happening now. If you wouldn't say Vihine, okay, you could also. It's not just poetic. It's showing you Vihine zeh umazeh. The reality that we're learning in Tanya becomes the reality of life. That there is a reality of zeh umazeh, of the Yetzer Hara trying to fight the Yetzer Tov. And we should know that in that reality we have the strength and the potency of Torah, which gives us the power to deal with this reality and to conquer the situation and to conquer the Yetzer Hara for Hashem. So maybe someone else, whatever, has a different explanation. I didn't check it out. I didn't study it much, but about it in the Tanya, the commentary of the Tanya, I didn't have a chance to look at it. But this seems to be, to me, in my humble opinion, to be one of the interpretations why the Alter Rebbe, the Tanya, again and again, quotes uses the word Vihine to show us that the Torah is right in front of us, in penetrating into the physical world. So when a person knows that, and he lives with the Torah, and he breathes the Torah, it's like Rabbi Akiva says, that the Torah and the Jewish people are like a fish in water. Just like a fish cannot live outside of the water, the Jewish people, we cannot live even for a second without the Torah, because the Torah is our life. It's the life force that Hashem gives us. So now we're going to continue in middle of the chapter 6 by the dot. I guess if you're following the Hebrew, it's about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 lines from the top. And you're following the English, there should be also, it should like have a beginning, a new paragraph. That's why the rabbis tell us that even when one Jew sits and learns Torah, the Shechina, the presence of Hashem, is there, it's revealed. Hashem rests in us. And when 10 Jews come together, they means like Bay is like bayit, like a house. Like when you sit, that's a bay asara. Kol bay asara. Shchinta shari eloy. Kol mashe eine bottle. So what did we learn so far? Now, why is it when a Jew learns Torah, even by himself, he has such a great zchut that Hashem is resting there? Hashem is revealed there, like it says in the Midrash that when a Jew learns Torah, Hashem comes and sits and learns Torah with you. And how much more so when it's multiplied at least by 10. Ava kol mashein let's leave barech elhu davar nift b'fnei atzmai eine mekabel chayos mikdushos shel hakadosh baruch hu ava kol ava kol mashein let's leave barech, but something that's not bottled to Hashem elhu davar nift b'fnei atzmai. If a person considers himself independent from God because he doesn't want to be humble to God, to Hashem, Eina mekabel chayos mikdushos shel hakadosh baruch hu b'chinas pnimis hakdusha ma'usa v'atzmusa b'chveda ba'atz. He doesn't receive the holiness, the chayos, the chiyus, the energy, the vitality from Hashem's holiness, from Hashem's pnimius, from Hashem's holiness and ma'usa v'atzmusa b'chveda ba'atz. He gets it from the back of Hashem that goes down from level to level, and finally it can come down to the level of Mishtalshelus Ha'elamus, that the world, there's many worlds, there's many levels. That it's imtumim rabim. It goes through ilov v'olol means a cause and an effect. That's what he's talking about, cause and an effect. I'm just looking over here and getting and v'tzimtzumim rabim kol kach ha'oir v'achayis miut achamiut, until the energy of Hashem goes from level to level, becomes so minute, something ulislabish b'chinas golachs toich oisei davar hanif time. He's saying, how is it that Hashem created things in this world that have an appearance that they're independent of Hashem? That if you look at the world, you look at things in the world, you don't see that they're dependent on Hashem. You don't see that they receiving their energy, their life force from Hashem. How is that? Because Hashem wants us to choose to be close to Him with our own initiative, with our free choice. It shouldn't be something that's pushed on us. It shouldn't be something that we're programmed to do this. He gave us the neshama. The neshama is definitely programmed, but He also gave us the Yetzer Hara. And when you look outside and you look around you, you don't necessarily see that everything is absolutely dependent on God. We do see Ashgacha Pratis. We do see divine providence. We do see many wonderful things, amazing things that happen daily to individuals, to us, and also to people in general, and to the Jewish people in general. But again, there's some people who argue and say that Kriyas Yamsuf, the splitting of the sea, was a scientific phenomena, was a natural phenomena. There's always things that you could deny, or they deny the whole thing, never happened. There's some people say that the Torah, God forbid, is not divine. So, it's very easy to find excuses to say, why I'm not practicing the mitzvahs, because who made it up? Who wrote the Torah? Who the rabbis and these are human beings, and I don't want to. I really don't want to. So Hashem is not going to hit you over the head. You don't want to, you don't want to. You want a person that He gave us free choice. That's one of the great things that Hashem told us as he created Adam Arishon, Adam and Eve, that he's going to give them free choice. And that's what happened in the beginning. He gave them the free choice. You want to eat from the fruit? You can eat from any fruit of the garden. There's so many trees. But one tree I don't want you to touch. I don't want you to eat from. He didn't say don't touch. You could smell it, but don't eat it. And the Yetzer Hara, the snake, came and convinced them they should eat from that tree. That really bothered Hashem. Why? Why do you have to do something against my command? And this was something that they heard directly from Hashem. The Adam heard it directly from Hashem. He doesn't have the excuse that we have. We didn't hear it directly from God. They heard it directly. So why didn't they listen? Because that's human nature. People are obnoxious. People are stubborn. People are selfish. People have an ego. People don't want to change. They don't want to listen to a higher authority. Unless you break your nature and you humble yourself, you say, yes, I'm going to start listening. I'm going to surrender my ego. So that's why he says here that Hashem has brought down his energy to such a point that it should go into creation, and it's as if his energy is captured in galus, into the reality of the world. And it's like a oxymoron. On one hand, Hashem is sustaining it, but at the same time, it's as if Hashem's energy that's sustaining the world is manipulated by the world. People don't give God the recognition. And Hashem is looking and watching how people are being disrespectful to him. But that's the system he created, because he wants us to receive more reward and more blessings when we choose on our own to do the right thing. We shouldn't be forced. We should do it happily on our own. Hashem constantly creates the world, otherwise the world would go back to its state of nothingness. The world wasn't here before Hashem created the world. And the only reason it's here, and all the contents of the world, literally, the sun, the moon, the stars, the oceans, everything, people, everything is only here because Hashem is constantly creating it. Otherwise, that's what the Baal Shem Tov says. Otherwise, the world would become nothing. If Hashem stopped pumping the energy into the world for one moment, the world would disappear. He wouldn't have to make an explosion. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So what I'm learning from here, that all the energy comes from Hashem, but the bad deeds get the energy from the backside, and the good deed get it from the front. Is that my understanding?
Correct.
Okay.
Now he's going to say something that was discussed in the forum a few weeks ago. Everyone wants to know, why is there so much negativity in this world? Why is there so much negativity in this world, and so much evil people succeed, and they're very aggressive? Because, like you just said, that because the world works on a balance. So when we do mitzvahs, we infuse the world with holy energy, with blessings. When we sin, we infuse the world with negative energy. When we do mitzvahs, we infuse the world with positive energy. And when we do sins and we do bad stuff, we're causing the world to be flooded with negative energy and curses. And that is the cause why there are, in every part of the world, there could be a reaction of something that happened on the other side of the world, because the whole world is the Rambam brings it from the Gemara, from the Talmud, that the whole world is like on a scale. The scale could be tipped even by a feather, either in the positive, one person's actions, what you do, what we do, each person has a responsibility, because what we do makes an impact on a bigger scale, much more than we could imagine. And that's why he says that this world, this very harsh. There's a lot of negative stuff in this world. But the bad people have a lot of power, because they're being fed from the negative energy from a lot of people doing sins, doing bad stuff. There's a sefer from Kabbalah, from Reb Chaim Vital. It's called Eitz Chaim, and over there he explains it. These klipos, these negative forces in the world, the negative energy, are divided into two categories. One is called shalosh klipos hatmeyos, the three husks, the three layers of impurity, they're totally bad. You cannot elevate it at all. Then them tev klal, and they don't have any good in them. In the book of Yecheskel, he talks about these things in a different terms, and we'll get into that next time, God willing. And it says Ruach Sa'ara Ba'man Atzafoin Onen Godol Ve'esh L'Mislakachas V'Noigel Saviv. So there was a big wind that came from the north. The Navi, the prophet, speaks in terms that are type like obscure, abstract. You have to understand what he's saying, but he's referring to the negative forces in the world. And so these are three things. He's talking about Ruach Sa'ara and Anan Gadol, a big cloud, a big wind, like a hurricane wind. But again, it's a metaphor, and a very thick cloud and a lot of fire. So these are the three levels of the Gimel Klippos Hatmeis, of the three Klippot that cannot be elevated. And then you have Umehen Nishbois Nimshachis Nefashis Kolumis Evdi Gehulim Vikim Gufam Nefashis Kol Balachayim Hatmeim V'Surim Ba'achila. That from that klippa, from those negative husks, negative energy, comes the souls of the goyim who worship idols. Not all goyim, but those who are idol worshippers, and animals that are tamei, are impure, and we cannot eat them because the Torah says they're not kosher to eat. And v'kiyum v'chayis kol macholos asuros. There's certain foods that you cannot eat, like if you plant a tree, you cannot eat from the fruits for the first 3 years. Or you cannot mix. Klayaketa means you cannot mix wheat, a seed of wheat and barley together with a seed of a grape. That's called klayaketa. So all these things that the Torah says that you cannot eat it, that's because these are this contains energy that cannot be elevated to Hashem. Like it says in the Sefer Eitz Chaim, which is a Kabbalah Sefer from Chaim Vital, who's the main student of the Arizal. When a person does something wrong against the Torah, or he speaks something negative, or he thinks something negative, and it has some connection with the prohibitions of the Torah, the loisasses, the Torah commands us not to do so, and the person violates the Torah and does it anyway. At that time, where's he getting energy to do it? He's not getting it from the pnimius, from Hashem, from the essence of Hashem, from the good side of Hashem. He's getting it from the back part of Hashem. Like I gave you the parable last time of the king who's having a party, and while he's having the party, the dogs are barking. So they throw bones to the dogs. They're not interested in the dogs. It's a friendly dog. They're only there to bark at for security, but they're hungry, so you got to give them food. You throw them the bones from the second floor, third floor. You don't really care. You're not doing it with great joy, because you're only really busy with the party, with the people who are at the party in the palace. The same thing. Hashem is interested primarily in all of us, and he wants to bless us because we're humble and we learn his Torah and we do his mitzvot and we talk to him all the time and we continue in our Jewish traditions and with strength and with happiness. And the other people who are not doing the right thing, they're not close to Hashem. Now, you have to explain something that's very important, that the Rambam already writes in his times, which was 850 years ago, that the people who are not religious because they don't know better, they didn't have the proper upbringing and the proper adequate education, those are people that are called Tinnik Shenishba. They are like a child that was born but in a family that never told the child that they're Jewish. So that's a different category. And most of the Jews today are in that category. They don't have any clue about what it means to learn Torah, mitzvot, and to do mitzvot with joy. They're not brought up like that. And they on the contrary, they look at it like weird, and they have no understanding. So it's not their fault. And we're supposed to do the right thing and make sure, ask Hashem to have mercy on them and to bring us Mashiach immediately, so we could all be united with Hashem properly, and not to be judgmental at other people, because that's not what Hashem wants. Now we'll take 5 minutes questions.
I guess, Rabbi, I have one question. There's one way of essentially verbalizing and doing the sins, but also what about the prohibition about thinking about them, contemplating about sinning?
Yeah, he says that.
Okay.
Thought, speech, and action.
Okay, good. Just want to reaffirm that. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Anyway, I want to wish everyone a beautiful day, and the learning is like a vitamin. You take it, it adds strength and energy to us. I know personally, for me, it's very uplifting knowing that I have the great merit that wonderful people want to learn Torah and sitting together and Zooms, but we're all united through the technology. And, this is a pure class. It's really for the love of Hashem. And I am truly blessed and humbled that I'm able to participate. So I want to thank Rabbi Smith again and all of you for listening and participating. To wish everyone a blessed day.
Thank you, Rabbi Dalfin.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
And Rabbi Dalfin, you show a lot of depth and knowledge in the Torah. I see it from things that are not written, but you add to it what's missing. Like if he says 3 things and only written 2, you add the third one. Like with the grapes, the mix with the grapes and
barley.
The barley and grapes.
Yeah, thank you.
I really enjoy it.
Right. And in preparation,
Thank you.
in preparation for the next class, Rabbi, through what chapter should we read to be prepared to when we meet with you?
I appreciate that you brought it up. Yeah, please, if you can, study the at least half of chapter 7.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, and we'll be able to go into it in more depth.